So, so they can't be faked, but they do need to be worked on. They do need to be developed because we all have the talent to develop our circlets, which is right up here. And the circlet actually deals with, this bottom one actually deals with this level here, deals with the ruche light. I mean, yes, it has, but also the corporea, but also the ruche. The ruche is the light of the soul, we call, and illuminates the soul. And this middle one deals with the Vas light, but also it deals with the tiara, and then the top one deals with the crown, which with the Shem light in ethereal. Well, we're dealing with the downward tugged heart during this week, and there's you have 7 days, and 7 is the limit. That's like the fullness. That's fullness, represents fullness, and in Samoan, but also in all aspects of life. And so that's like an understanding that we gain with regards to each of these, the hearts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and now we're at 11. So this 11, so this circlet, so dealing with the circlet means standing upright, and dealing with the hearts in these aspects, in those aspects that were mentioned. And the circlet is simply that too. It's simply a circlet of light. That's all it is. It's a circlet of light. But it's a circlet of light that is, when you're developed, you have one. You have one right there. It sits right there. Right there. As you develop in your capacity, when you get to that stage, of that level, when you've gone through all the 10 and you sufficiently advanced in each, you have a modicum of understanding of each of them and a certain mastery, not over the entirety of it, but sufficient that at some point, when you don't get bowled away by all this stuff, essentially is what it is that you stand there with your light, you sustain the light, you maintain the lights that there, you stay with the light, with the circlet of light. And this circlet of light, you see, it's really just like we're sparks of the Creator, part of His light and all that stuff. Well, these circlets are the same as what everybody has, and all the gods, the highest gods, the chieftainesses that you want to go up and all that, they all have this, and everything's all in tune. So it's like a part of all those circlets that ever are or ever will be, except for we're just we're gaining one. We work on one particular aspect at first, whatever it is that's within us. We develop that, and at some point, when we've developed sufficiently, we can symbolically receive circlets from Jehovah's kingdom. And there's certain angels of the inner temple of Jehovah that they'll give them to you. They said, this is what you've earned. And but basically all that really is sort of like an amplifier, or it's something to strengthen the one that you have. It's the same as when you're first initiated into the inner temple, because the inner temple is about developing the soul of man, and the steps that you take this to become ready to live in the life of the soul, and you want to develop the soul life, not the corporeal life. That's a different thing. Yes, we develop the corporeal life, but the inner temple, but that's the outer temple, the corporeal life, the outer temple and all that, and what's out here in corporea and the worldly stuff. And so, but the inner temple deals with the soul realm and the soul reality, which is out here. Well, okay, and so the circlet has to do with the ruche, with the soul realm, and all that stuff. And so, when you're first initiated into the inner temple, you move toward the holiness of the light. You start at the bottom and you go up here to the holiness of the light. You try to get to you're going for your first degree, and that's where. But when you're initially initiated in the inner temple, the angels come. They resonate in tune with that spark of light that's in your soul, with a ruche that you have within your soul, the one that wants to listen to Jehovah, and because Jehovah speaks through that light. Okay, he is the light of the ruche, and so what the angels do is that they act like they're acting like you know, with your guitar string. You know, if you have a guitar string, plunk, and you plunk it in the key or in the note of E, then any other strings that are also tuned to E will vibrate. You see, and that's what the angels do, is they help that light within the soul to stay with you. It's like lighting the light in a candle or inside you, so to speak. It's your own light that you're perceiving and all that, but it's like strengthened. They somehow they strengthen it, and that's to help you, to help stay with, to find the light, to stay with the light of Jehovah, because that's what you're searching for. You're searching for that holiness, that holy light and all that. Well, that's just when you're first initiated in the inner temple. But now what we're talking about here is we're talking about the development up here with the circlet, which has to do with when you've attained to that. Like I say, the angels of the inner temple, Jehovah's kingdom, they will give you a representation of that, which does that same sort of strengthening thing that they did for you in the soul, with the flame in the soul. And now you get it up here, and that helps you to stay with the kingdom of Jehovah, essentially, to stay in tune with it, with Jehovah's kingdom, because that's what we all want. We all want to become one with Jehovah through his kingdom. And we can try it any other way, but it's not going to work. It's only through his kingdom, and his kingdom is for freedom for all. You know, so what's not to like, right? Well, anyway, that's just the circlet. Now that's what this week is about. Now next week is going to be the tiara, which has to do with the Queen of Hearts, right? And the tiara, just to let you quickly know, is where you start with the circlet. Well, the tiara is the rise from the circlet. Okay, you're going to actually rise from the foundation, and you're going to broaden your understanding of what's going on, and your comprehension and your ability to master the elements and a higher, because right now the tiara is essentially, the circlet is the foundation thing, the foundation of that, and you build from that foundation. And then the crown is essentially how the loft that you get. It's basically an infinite number of circlets, you know, a circlet on top of a circlet on top of a circlet on top of a circlet, in the same manner that the Nirvanian chain is a series of the Orion belts upon Orion belts upon Orion belts. Now there's an infinite number, but we each, according to our internal affinity that Jehovah created this with, we bring forth certain aspects of that. And so while our crown has an infinite number of circlets in it, we only tend to illuminate certain ones as we develop. Now, as we develop, the more and more, we gain more and more all the time. And so there is more than one aspect, even of a circlet, because there's really basically like an infinite number of circlets, but they're still rudimentary ones, so to speak, fundamental ones, and all that that people start with, and all that, and build upon. And so that's this is the week. This is the week where all this takes place, all this cohesiveness of of dealing with the hearts, of understanding the hearts, and how do you go forward in the heart? You know, how do you sustain the heart in all its manifestations and all that? It can become, you know, I mean, it's just vast. It can be just vast, or you can just focus on one aspect. And but anyway, but that's this week. And then, by the way, the following season, which is going to be the upper tugged heart, or the spade, that's going to deal with all 13 again. They're going to have their own levels of 1 through 10, and then also the circlet and the tiara on the crown. And then the next season after that, which is going to be the diamond, and then that has its thing, and then the next one after that, which has to do with the club, which has to do with brotherhood, which has to do with the kingdom on Jovi's kingdom on earth, and the whole year ends on that crescendo note. And then you have, well, anyway, there's holy. That's why it's such a holy time and everything, and you have the most holy Sabbath and so forth and all that, and then the whole new year starts. So that's it in a nutshell. Blessings.